Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
I am your co-host, Noel Woods, codename Crapshoot.
Slam, bam, it's a wrestling jam. Come on, Cobras, give me a hand. Step in my ring, I'll beat you, bub. I'm the Cobra Intern, codename Legion Cub.
Woo.
Wow. Tremendous. You can follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure you click that follow button if you are listening to the audio version right now. But if you're curious what this would look like in video, well, just check out the Needless Things YouTube channel where we live stream about every other Monday and where we now have memberships available. We have 3 different levels of memberships. For Cherry Picker, $1.99 a month, you get custom emojis and badges made by me and access to polls where you will determine the content of the channel. The collector level for $4.99 a month gets early access to every review, and interview. Although the interviews are a little different editing process, so your early access may be like an hour. But reviews, I usually put up on Saturday or Sunday, so you get them several days early. And this week, the early reviews are Dial Tone and Xandar.
Man, I can't wait for my dial tone to get here on Tuesday, December 30th.
From the, right? Well, now is that December 30th, 2025?
I believe it.
Year on it.
I believe it was this. Yes, December 30th was a Tuesday this year.
And I will go ahead and do a little spoiler here, since these reviews have not gone up to the public yet. But I will say right now, pretend I'm a chef. Whoa, this wave.
In case you didn't know, Mr. Get a membership so you can see these early. YouTube likes to tease the rest of us because you've already created thumbnails.
Right.
So it's like, oh, yeah, look at this. And then you click on it and it's like, oh, but become a member. And I'm like, take my money.
It's part of the deal.
Because I need to see your Xandar review.
Going up next week. Also going up this week. Hang on. I've got a graphic. I finally received the physical copies of the Battle Action Force Treasuries, so my review of those goes up this week on the Needless Things YouTube channel. And then next week, you will get the Saw Viper and Leatherneck. And let me just say, once again, pretend I'm a chef because, this whole wave. So we don't talk a lot. Like, we'll discuss what the lineups are, but we don't talk a lot about the significance of them. And this wave is really interesting because, I mean, obviously Dial Tone is one of my guys because I need everybody in Special Mission Brazil. Well, Dial Tone and Leatherneck were both big deals for me. But these 4 characters, I got to feel like to the average Joe fan, there's not a banger among them. As far as just the characters. Like, there's nobody to get super excited about. Like, Saw Viper, maybe. But then there's also the fact that maybe half the people wouldn't even know who that is. So I mean,
if you're a comic fan, yeah. You know, if you were reading at that point in the comic, he's obviously very significant.
If you were reading at that point in the comic, and I think that eliminates even a big number of comic fans because it's relatively deep into the run.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is an interesting wave that doesn't have any really big names, but every single one of the figures, in my opinion, knocked it out of the park. So there's good stuff there. Also coming soon, I got finally my Fatal Fluffy.
So jealous.
And I got 2 Fatal Fluffies and George Remar.
Thanks. Even twice as jealous.
James Remar. But Target put stickers on the back, and you'll notice they thought they were doing well because they left part of the paper on, but these do not come off. I hit them with a hairdryer for a full minute. They're not going to peel off without damaging the boxes. So I contacted Target. I did a return, and they gave me a full refund and said, don't bother sending those back. So I have to say that worked out well in the end, and those will be reviewed very soon on the Needless Things YouTube channel. And I think that's all the follow-up there I've got right now. Our next live stream is going to be February the 10th. Put it on your calendar right now. Yeah, Rekship. Rekship's got a good point. By the way, notice Rekship's badge. He is a member. Did look at a few of my local targets for you this week. Literally nothing G.I. Joe. That's how my targets are right now. It's not even that they don't have the Reaction Plus. They don't have any Joe. They don't have any tags up for Joe.
Ours has the tags up for Reaction Plus, but
I didn't see the tags up for the Reaction Plus, but I did see Retro Eels and Beachhead last time I was there.
Which is a wave ago.
Yeah.
So interesting things going on there. I think Target maybe is in the middle of a reset that's going to take a total of 6 weeks or something. I don't know what's going on. But I did, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it last time, I did find 4 Serpentors in a Target, but we were going to see a movie and I didn't have time to wait in the massive line that was winding all the way through the store. Very exciting news. Well, there are the memberships. Our best-selling T-shirt of all time, the Cobra Intern shirt, is available right now from the Needless Things TeePublic store. If you follow Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, and you should, you can go to the pinned stories. There will be links. I believe there's a link right now specifically to this T-shirt, but there are always links to the TeePublic store. Mini Pete just wanted to say I got my Intern shirt. Excellent, Mini Pete. Cannot wait to see you at Joe Fest mobbing Kristian. Just remember,
yes.
he's a wee fellow. You've got to let him breathe. Don't dogpile this man.
Hey, in my because I was off today and I did some toy hunting. I actually had a little old lady at Walmart that asked me to get something down off a shelf because she was too short for it. I think this is the first time in my life that has ever happened.
Well, if you order your Cobra Intern shirt, you too will be able to help little old ladies get things off of shelves at Walmart. But yeah, it's doing very, very well. I'm very excited to see people showing up at Joe Fest. Just this mob of blue. And I genuinely like how this design turned out too. Like it was kind of just a casual, let me throw some words on it and see what it looks like. But I really do like this one. But unfortunately, Noel and I are not eligible to wear it. We are not, in fact, Cobra interns. All right.
Wait,
what else do we got going on here?
Am I supposed to be getting paid?
I'm having... well, I didn't...
Maybe I am an intern after all.
Perhaps.
What a student
we've got something. We've got something very special just for member Tom.Henry. I think we all have a pretty good idea of which variant cover he's going to want for G.I. Joe number 4. We'll shout out there. And yes, I do believe we will see a classified Fang in 2025. Maybe.
The question is, will it be based on the original Fang or that weird Walmart one
that
came out a few years ago?
Let's not go there. Let's not at all. All right. What do we got here? So we mentioned our next live stream is on February the 10th. Ooh, I almost said live scream. I've got to remember that for October. We'll have to do an Audible Interlude live scream. All right. So Battle Action Force, we've done a lot with that. As I said, my review of the physical copies of the treasuries will go up this week. My interview with Brian Hickey is still available on the Needless Things YouTube channel as the Needless Things podcast, and wherever you get Audible Interlude podcast. I wanted to make sure that got maximum exposure, so it's available everywhere. And the Needless Things podcast version does have a special intro that the other ones do not have. And then, of course, last week's episode, we focused on things that we learned from the PDF versions of the Battle Action Force Treasury. So it's an all Action Force episode, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Let's see here. Before we move on, any other follow-up, guys? Anything else to discuss from the past?
Not really a follow-up to anything that we discussed, but I did want to put it out there. And I'll post the photo tomorrow or after the show tonight on my Instagram. But GameStop apparently is carrying soft cover versions of the Skybound compendiums. So
which is wild because
I was at one today, and they had volume 1. It's $69.95. It's massive.
Yeah. Did they have other books? I don't remember GameStop carrying like graphic novels or even
me neither. That's why
or anything.
When because
manga.
It was actually next to
Mongo
some
McMichael
Transformers that they had left in shipping boxes.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, what is this? I figured it was going to be like another one of those Funko, here's a grab bag box.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that is not a box. This is a book.
So keep an eye out for those, because those compendiums, I mean, granted, I've got the hardcover versions, but I will say the printing is beautiful. And if you want to actually read them, the soft covers will probably be a little easier to manage, because 2024 was certainly the year of massive tomes. Oh, and I will say this about the physical review, the Battle Action Force Treasuries. They are very manageable. They're not as unwieldy as some of the other books we've gotten lately. So I was happy to see that. But yeah, check that review out. That goes up on Wednesday.
Those might be they might be easier to actually have in your hand than those giant PDFs that were like 135 pages or more each.
Well, yes, you don't have to wait to read the books.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for books to load. We do have some news here. A little update from our pals, Legends of the Hidden Force. Kusa is finally approved. It only took 3 months and 5 drafts. And I will say again, as I've said anytime I have spoken with toy creators, you got to keep in mind they're going back and forth with the factory. Communication is not always as swift as it could be from both ends. It just takes time. So to go back and forth 5 times on this figure to get it right, I mean, that's potentially a very long time. Well, 3 months, as he says. You can see him below in the packaging pictures. So we're looking at him right here. And also we have packaging progress pics, a quick mock-up from the factory. This is the first draft, not final. There will be a bubble above the main figure bubble that will hold accessories. So let's move on to the bubble figure, or the blister carded figure. We also realize that Chinese New Year is coming up. It's an unfortunate part of working with Chinese factories, but even with the manufacturing pause this can cause, we are in the final stretch. So sometime in the next few months, we will have Legends of the Hidden Force figures in our hands. And I'm excited because every look we've gotten at them, to me, they've looked a little better. We also have an update from Skeletron. A lot has happened since our last Kickstarter update, and we'll start off with a giant thank you. The reception to the arrival of the RoboSkull Mark II and Mark II Special Edition has truly exceeded all expectations. They were honored at all the reviews. Everything was great. They particularly want to mention how awesome Needless Things is and how it was the best review out of all the reviews that were put up. I'm just kidding. They did not say that, though they should have. Kickstarter progress. Now that all of the RoboSkulls and Elite Flight Stand have been delivered with much fanfare, what is new with what's left? Obviously, they're currently on holiday for the Lunar New Year, but the Robo Knight Heavy Metal Armor, which is what we're looking at here, it's that faceplate that attaches over the skull of your RoboSkull Mark II. It needed to be retooled from scratch. If you remember, months ago, they received it, and it just didn't work at all. They received a new factory painted sample, and it looks great. They're requesting one very minor adjustment, and then production will be able to commence. As you also know, they've been revising tooling on their new 6-inch figures, and they recently received a newly updated test shot. It's so close. The figure looks and feels fantastic. They expect the factory will be able to quickly make the hopefully final tweaks upon their return and move these highly anticipated, long-awaited figures into production. So if you look at this, it's all red, so it's kind of hard to spot detail, especially if you're just watching this on YouTube. But go check out the Skeletron Instagram page or their Facebook page or whatever, and you can see a much better, clearer picture of what we're going to be getting with the 6-inch figures that I'm very excited about. And then finally, this is probably the most exciting picture we've got here. The 6-inch Wolf Trooper factory paint samples are being reviewed concurrently with the tooling adjustments. And I mean, look at this.
That's gorgeous.
This is awesome. And you can see the matte and the gloss, the differences in the textures. Like, this just looks killer. Very, very excited to get all of these figures in hand, which initially I was not going to go in on the 6-inch ones, and then they just kept showing these shots of them, and I couldn't help it. I had to, because I figured they're never going to be this cheap again. I better go ahead and get in on them right now, because I know I'm going to be kicking myself if I don't. All right. Well, that's it for news. It was a slow news week, which is perfect because, as we all know, tonight is the annual Audible Rumble. But first, we're going to do things a little bit out of order because I don't know how long the Rumble is going to go. And I do want the Rumble to close the show out. So we are going to go ahead and hit our sound offs early in the show. Obviously, we start with our priority Needless Things channel members. So kicking us off, and I feel relatively confident saying, as always, Wreck Ship 85, and you can see that custom badge right there in the image. I wore the new Cobra Intern t-shirt at Winterfest this weekend, and all I got were a bunch of inquisitive looks from people. I think they were trying to figure out what it was referencing. And let me just say, Wreck Ship 85, you have failed us. First of all I got were a bunch of inquisitive looks from people. So thanks a lot for the information that nobody knows what Audible Interlude is. And second of all, you didn't tell them? Come on, man. Those shirts are advertising. That's the whole point. You're demoted again. Get back to the galley, Private Wreck Ship. Disappointing. I'm just kidding.
I'll cut in some
Seaman
slack
airship.
because I grew up in Kentucky. I can only wonder, well, barely wonder, the people that were giving him inquisitive looks.
Oh, yeah. No, this
I
am delighted.
They were just like, what's this shirt got words on it for? I can't read them.
I am delighted that it was out in the wild. And as I said, I can't complain at all. It's our best-selling shirt. It's going to be showing up all over the place. But please do. If you're wearing it, well, you know what? That's fair. Wreck Ship says I was busy buying more toys. You know what? I can't say anything about that either, because that's what you should be doing. But it's going to be great seeing these things just pop up in different places, because as many have sold at this point, that's going to be happening, and I love it. Also from member Tom.Henry, although here he's Tom Henry 9977, also with his custom membership badge. So I just got the Saw Viper, and he is hanging out with my Techno Viper because purple. I think we need more purple figures. I agree with you, Tom Henry. What purple characters would you like to see in Classified? Obviously, Pythona. Like, that's my A number one. Who else even is purple?
Oh, I was
We've already
thinking
got our
of
Dr. Mindbender.
Yeah.
Purple Alley Viper.
Yeah, let's
Purple
go.
and Black Deco.
I'm down with that.
The Globo Gym purple Cobras or Cobra or purple.
Yeah. Okay, good. Absolutely. All wins. Side note, I have no reason to believe Lenny and crew know who I am, but the lack of a classified fang is starting to seem awfully personal. I have some inside information, Tom Henry, that they do know who you are, and it is personal. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything. I texted Lenny the other day, and he never texted back, and I feel really bad about it. All right, we got time for a couple more before we have to move on to the Audible Rumble. Mark Harrison Moz fan commented, new necks, alternative head sculpts, alternative hands, or something else. If you were able to ask Lenny and the team for one thing to be added to or changed with classified figures in 2025, what would it be? Noel.
I go back to those necks that they had when they first launched the line almost 5 years ago.
Bingo.
Especially for characters who need it for the poses.
I don't mind alternate head sculpts. I don't mind alternate hands, but those necks to me, they never should have gone away. That is something that every single classified figure should have. No
And
excuse.
is it me, but for some of the figures, is it actually getting worse? Like if you pop their head off, there is no room for the peg to actually move.
Oh yeah, it's jammed way up in there. Yeah, it wouldn't, even if it had the hinge, it wouldn't have room to do anything. I don't know. Yeah, they need to re-engineer those things. All right, let's see. What else have we got? Knox Levitt 1. Oh boy, here we go. I'm going to send Dave off on a rant. Without getting too political, how do we think possible tariffs will affect the hobby? Well, tariffs, which are almost certainly right around the corner, will destroy the hobby. We will not be able to afford toys. We will not be able to afford food. I've talked about this before on the show, and it's not political, it's economic. And that's just a fact that if you levy massive tariffs on a foreign country, guess what? They're not going to say, well, no corporation, no foreign corporation, foreign entity is going to say, well, I guess we're just going to have to take that hit. So you know who's going to get punched in the nether regions? The American customer. That's who's going to be paying all those tariffs.
So Hasbro, kind of relevant to this,
yeah, I know.
Came out recently and said they're going to be focusing less on toys and more on games in 2025, yep. And I think that is a direct result.
100%. I saw that same report, and that's the first thing that popped into my head. Is why? Because you can't. They're not going to be able to make a profit selling toys at the prices they're going to have to sell them. So yeah, I think it's going to kill the hobby. And that's not political. That's economic. That's factual, because corporations are not going to eat those costs. So there you go. There's how that works. And unfortunately, no, we got one more. We got one more because it's from Hillbilly, and we love Hillbilly and podcasts from the pit. Just wanted to say y'all did a great job on the interview with Brian Hickey. Keep up the good work. He was very easy to interview. Like yes, I enjoy doing interviews, and I feel like it is something that I can do well. But he was great. He couldn't have been better.
One of my favorites. Like I have enjoyed so many of the, all of the creator series, and I feel like each person has had something that stuck out. But that one, there was, I don't know, just this. He was as giddy about Action Force as you could possibly be, and it made me that much more excited for Action Force.
Yeah, he had a genuine passion for, I mean, obviously, to put in the time that he did to make those treasuries as nice as they are. And they are, the physical copy, and the PDFs are great. We've already talked about the quality of them, but the physical copies are just absolutely gorgeous. And to have the dedication to put the time into that and make them as wonderful as they are, you just have to love it. All right, that is the last sound off that we're going to do tonight. And remember, if you are a member of the Needless Things YouTube channel, you get priority, and we will respond to your sound off each and every time. Comment priority is one of the perks. But now it is time. Let's get ready to Audible. The Audible Rumble is back. If you are not familiar, with the massive pro wrestling event, the Royal Rumble. Here is how it works. Obviously, ours is a little different because we don't have actual wrestlers running to an actual ring and doing actual things. But what we do have is 30 different characters from the entire history of G.I. Joe. Each of us have selected 10 entrants for this Audible Rumble. And we're gonna kind of wing it. If you if you heard last year's, and if you haven't, you should go check it out. Then you know it's a little chaotic. All we have planned really at this point is our picks and probably some gimmicky little things. But an element we're adding in this year is we are each going to be rolling a 6-sided die to determine what action is taken when our entrant hits the ring. Because that was an issue with last year, is honestly, once we got into it, I was like, oh, wait, how do we decide what we're doing here? And we just kind of had to wing it. And it was great. We had a lot of fun. But now it's more gamey. We've got a little more structure this time around, which could make it more or less fun depending on your point of view. So here is how it's going to work. Our first roll of the 6-sided die is going to happen right now. All three of us roll at the same time, and whoever gets the highest number is the first entrant in the 2025 Audible Rumble. I got a 3.
I got a 2.
Noel, you are... Oh, wait, shoot. Hang on. I need my media assets. You are entrant number 1.
All right. Well, our first contestant in tonight's Audible Rumble. Oh, it's football season. You think he'd be busy doing football things, but no. Captain Gridiron makes his way to the ring as our first entrant.
And now that you're in the ring, you roll that die. Do you have the responses in front of you?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
I rolled a 5. So he's the first one in the ring. So he stands around waiting for entrant number 2 to be announced.
All right. Entrant number... Entrant number 2 walks out onto the ramp, and it is none other than Red Vulture from 1983. And as we all learned last week, he has no friends. The Audible Rumble, it's every man for themselves. But in Red Vulture's case, it's more true than anybody else in this tournament. Can he eliminate 29 other competitors to emerge victorious? He makes his way down to the ring, squaring up against Captain Gridiron. Slips in through those ropes. The two exchange glances. And lock up in a test of strength. Back and forth action. Punches to the face, kicks to the gut, thrown into the ropes. Lots of violence going on here. Captain Gridiron is big and strong and tough, but Red Vulture is wily. And again, he has no friends. And now it is time for entrant number...
As the stadium explodes in pyrotechnics and Bad to the Bone starts playing over the PA system, here comes entrant number 3, Steamroller, with his manager Toll Booth right behind him, prepping him on. This unwily duo, also known as the Constructicons. Steamroller gets into the booth, throws his vest off, and is like, "Whoa! I'm unstoppable!"
Let's see if he is.
All right.
I feel like Steamroller and Toll Booth would almost be like heavy machinery back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I rolled a 1.
Rolled a
Which means-
1. So.
Noel gets.
Oh, you got. Okay. Yeah. You just determine who you want to eliminate.
Oh. Oh. Ho, ho, ho. Well, the red vulture has no friends. So Toll Booth and his manager, or sorry, Steamroller and his manager Toll Booth are going to execute the deadly Turbo Teen attack as Toll Booth tosses his sledgehammer into the ring and
Oh my gosh.
Steamroller just spins around, whapping Red Vulture right up beside the head out of the ring.
Oh no.
Is he Triple H?
Well, this year, instead of a lot of broken homes and missing dads, I'm upping the violence.
Can one of you? I've got to keep the media screen up. Can one of you guys keep an eye on the comments?
Mhm.
All right. Well, it is back to me then.
Because I went first.
Oh wait, you're right. Yeah.
You're
Okay, it's
number
back
4.
to you. Go for it.
All right. So, as the as the crowd goes wild, out stands a towering figure with an interesting hairstyle. It looks like there's a giant C carved onto his head. It is Mr. C, made famous in the episode Cobrathon, who works his way down to the ring. Just all 6'8" of him, just coming down, ready to crack some Joe heads. He looks at Steamroller, he looks at Gridiron, he looks at Toll Booth outside of the ring, and he decides that he's going to roll a die. And he rolls a number 2, which means he's going to have to eliminate one of these poor Joes that are in the ring right now. He grabs Steamroller, and of course, Toll Booth comes in and tries to block him with that sledgehammer. Mr. C says, not having that. Takes the sledgehammer, smacks Steamroller with it, and then tosses him and Toll Booth outside of the ring and into the crowd.
That's good. We're reset to where we should be because I messed
Yeah.
up the first one, but that's okay. Red Vulture, he has no friends. He deserves it. As I said, chaotic. Who knows what's going to happen? All right, now it's back to me. And heading towards the ring to the tune of the Ultimate Warriors theme song, it's 1997 rock and roll. A chorus of boos assails him as he makes his way to the ring, but he doesn't care. He's vibrating with incorrect energy. He is so excited to be acknowledged in any way, in any kind of G.I. Joe forum. 1997 rock and roll is here, brother. He slides into the ring. He grabs those ropes and lets out a mighty roar. Whoa! And then rolls his dice. And he rolls a 6. He runs towards Captain Gridiron and Mr. C. And hits a double clothesline, knocking them both to the mat. Jumps up again, grabs the ropes, and lets out another mighty roar. Whoa! 1997 rock and roll is on fire, brother. Kristian, I think it's back to you.
Yes. And a hush falls over the crowd as they await the next entrant. But wait, we don't see anything. A lonely tumbleweed blows across the ring. Where's the entrant? Who's our new competitor? Let's roll and find out. I roll a 2. So everyone is looking around the ring. What's going on? Who are we supposed to fight? Rock and Roll is still up on the ropes being all, "Ah!" All of a sudden, you hear this voice yell out, "Look at me!" And Mr. C gets this panicked look, and all of a sudden, there is Xandar squeezing Mr. C's face, but no one can see him. All you
Cena.
hear is this voice yell, "Different strokes for different folks," and tosses Mr. C out of the ring.
Oh,
Wow. He's the John Cena of G.I. Joe's
the
Rumble.
John Cena.
Cena. Ooh.
All right, is that you, Noel, or are you next?
Yes. All right. As the crowd is anticipating the countdown and they start to cheer, and all of a sudden they start wondering, what's that strange smell? Everything is really suddenly gotten really rank. It's just noxious, and it stings the nostrils. And out comes Cesspool, the next entrant to the ring. He walks down with all that stench of chemical, noxious odors. Everyone in the ring is just covering their noses. They're just gasping for air. The people in the crowd are starting to head for the exits because they need to find some fresh air outside. Cesspool gets up to the ring, and he rolls a 5. So he sizes up. Who's left in the ring? I got to look at my list here. Xandar, he sizes up 1997 Rock and Roll, and he sizes up Gridiron, and they all just slide out underneath the ring for right now to stay safe as he stands in the ring just stinking up a storm with all this chemical noxious odor. So everyone is still in. They've gone out underneath the bottom ring. They've pulled the Jerry Lawler, so they're not out of the ring just yet.
Suddenly, the arena goes dark, and the opening notes of the Ramones' Chainsaw starts playing. And an absolute maniac comes running down the entryway. It's Bench Press from 2009, complete with his chainsaw. What is happening? He's coming down the entryway with almost as much energy as 1997 Rock and Roll, but not quite as much. But he does have a giant chainsaw. So everybody would seem to be in a whole lot of trouble. He runs around the ring, and everybody dives back into the ring because they would rather deal with the stench than an actual freaking chainsaw. He continues running around the ring, wielding his chainsaw, the smoke and the smell of gasoline all over the arena. Quite frankly, people are a little upset. It's kind of, if you're in the front row, it really is an unpleasant experience. But then he runs into the ring and throws his chainsaw at the announce table, where it gets jammed and immediately the whole thing falls apart. And he throws his arms up in the air, turns around, and grabs a hold of the stinkiest, most disgusting person in the ring because he feels like this is the one that's got to go. But a struggle ensues, and neither man is eliminated.
So the struggle continues, and all of a sudden, in a wave of 80s amazingness, Baltimore's Tarzan Boy starts playing, and into the ring on a jungle vine swings Claymore.
Oh, you dirty.
My first of many secret weapons. Oh, okay. So I rolled a 4. All right. So Claymore lands into the ring and is immediately looking around and trying to figure out, In no way, shape, or form is this Brazil. I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. All I know is there's some stank over in that corner. An empty corner. Some football guy. But he decides he's going to be a hero. And does the Craven Crunch and does a flying leap off of a rope to break up
Bench press.
the
Bench press and
cesspool and I already forgot his name.
Bench press.
Bench press. Thank you.
Okay. So let's we'll get mine in and then we'll take inventory of who remains.
We'll get mine in first since I'm after Kristian.
I just don't want you going before me for some reason.
Every time.
I don't know what my problem is. It is every time, isn't it?
It happened last year.
No,
too.
I mean literally every episode. I need to take notes or something. All right.
What's that I hear? The music? Is that The Ecology by Marvin Gaye? Ooh, who's coming out to that music? As you see someone coming out in a giant yellow hazmat suit. It's Clean Sweep. He's coming after his arch nemesis, Cesspool. He's not bothered by the smell. He's got a gas filtration system and everything. He marches his way down to the ring, and he stares eye to eye with Cesspool. And what happens? He starts duking it out with Cesspool, throws him against the ropes. He bounces back. He clotheslines Cesspool. Cesspool's down. He goes to throw him over the top, but he's saved by Xandar, who's still in the ring, and he does not accomplish his goal.
Bum, bum, bum.
A wild light show starts. Laser lights, flashing strobes. It's like a Stone Mountain in Georgia on the 4th of July. And then Balls by Sparks starts playing. If I really want to lose everybody with a reference, starts playing over the loudspeakers, and slowly making his way down the ring is Crystal Ball with his hypnotizing shield. The crowd goes quiet because they're completely lulled by this wild, magical thing. Crystal Ball walks his way down to the ring. And as he gets closer, all of the entrants are focused on that shield and its mesmerizing patterns. He gets into the ring, raises it up. All eyes go up following that shield. He drops it down, and all eyes drop down. He moves side to side, and everybody is following that shield. They can't take their eyes off of it. And that is where this round ends. That was I was really hoping he was going to get thrown out because I had a bit for that, but now it's going to have to wait. We're going to leave it up to fate. All right, so that was, I believe, our 12th entrant. So, Kristian, back to you.
Now, the theme to Jurassic Park is playing. Is that the low rumble of a dinosaur stampede? No, that is our next contestant. Dino Hunter Ambush has made his way into the ring. If he can beat Raptors, let's see if he can take out any of these combatants.
Oh, boy.
Yes! And I swear to the person who commented earlier, I do not have weighted dice, but I did roll a 2 again. So, we're going to have to execute some dino DNA against Cesspool.
Oh, no.
So he takes out his gun and blasts Cesspool back into the primordial ooze.
Rough.
Bye, Cesspool.
All right.
Meanwhile, Clean Sweep is sad that he wasn't the one that got to do it.
Well, he's probably going to be looking for revenge.
Yeah.
All right. Noel.
Yar. The buzzer buzzes after the countdown, and all of a sudden you see on the screen as the crowd cheers along, "The right of might." Everyone is so excited because they see Salvo coming down. But then all of a sudden they start to boo because they realize this is the Salvo from the Aubrey Sitterson series who's gender swapped. And there's still a bunch of people who are very, very angry about that in the crowd. So our female version of Salvo walks down to the ring. Still, of course, bigger and stronger than most of the men that are in there currently. And we are going to roll the die. And Salvo goes in the ring and just starts clotheslining people left and right. Just tosses Xandar against the ropes, tosses bench press against the ropes, clotheslines them both, picks up Clean Sweep and body slams clean sweep, picks up Crystal Ball, does an airplane spin and drops him on his head, but tries to toss out Dino Hunter Ambush, and to no avail is not able to get him out. So that's where we end on this one.
All right. Headed down the ramp. It's a brand new competitor, a recent signee to the Audible Wrestling Federation. So new, it's still in its package. This thing is struggling down the ramp, so we just got a live unboxing, let it breathe, right here on the show. The Fatal Fluffy is on its way. Oh, man, it's got that really rigid tray. I hate this. All right, hang on. Oh, this is terrifying. Let's fix this plastic, please. Oh, I dropped his whip and his gun. Okay, there we go. Ooh, the whip is a little... I thought it was going to be like a rigid plastic, but it's rubbery.
Ooh.
So that's cool. All right, he's got to get equipped. Oh, and real quick, and I will still be doing a full review of this guy, but people were questioning. He does have swivel arms.
Ah, nice.
Oh, he feels great. Plastic feels really good. The size is... Oh, man, his head is... it's on a... like an up and down joint.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he can do what
So he
classified
can-
figures can.
Yeah, he can look up. Unlike classified figures. That's hilarious.
This might give him a winning edge in the ring.
Yeah, right? He'll be able to see people flying off the top rope, whereas classified figures would just be like, what's happening? I can't look up that high. All right. Well, that's good enough. I'm wasting way too much time with this. There we go. All right, Fatal Fluffy on his way to the ring. Gosh, this is really good, you guys. This is a good figure. I'm so happy. All right, okay. So Fatal Fluffy on his way to the ring. He's big. He's mad. He's got a whip and a blaster. I mean, surely he's going to eliminate everybody in the ring. Oh, I should have had a multiple eliminations. Remember, we'll need to remember that for next year. Yeah. Like goes on a run or goes on a streak. All right, let's see what we got. He's probably going to get eliminated. No, he goes into the ring and starts throwing that whip around, knocks over 1997 Rock and Roll First because he recognizes him for the threat that he is, knocks over Crystal Ball, actually gets a kick in the head, and that snaps everybody out of the trance. Clears the ring. They're all laying down, but nobody is eliminated. But the Fatal Fluffy is standing in the middle of the ring, just soaking in the boos of the crowd. They hate this gigantic weird monstrosity. All right. Gosh, seriously though, this figure is amazing. All right.
Well, speaking of weird...
Wait.
Speaking of weird monstrosities, the smell of lemongrass and ginger permeate the air. There's no music, but a crowd of black robed with hoods so you can't see their faces are marching towards the ring. Everyone is just in awe. What? There can only be one contestant. Who are all these people? When all of a sudden, Debbie Harry's rip her to shreds, blasts over the intercom. The hooded figure in front throws off her robe, leaps into the ring with a ballerina pirouette, flicks her hands, and it's Pythona, our first gorgeous lady of wrestling.
Our second one.
Tonight.
No, our second one.
Oh, true.
Salvo's in there.
Yep. So, let's see. Oh, it's a 1.
Oh.
So,
Oh no.
he is posing to the cheer of the crowds when the Fatal Fluffy just comes up from behind, kicks her right over the ropes, right over the crowd, into the wall with a splat.
Just set women's lib back like 30 years. Good job, Kristian.
All right, back to Noel.
All right. As the music, yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yay, beep in the sky. Yes, a character comes down. He's a pilot. He's wearing a scarf. But the announcers can't say his name because it's trademarked already by Marvel for another character. So they just keep calling him that guy, or what's his name? They can never remember his name. We can say it's Ghost Rider, but
What's
nobody
his name,
else
JR? I can't remember his name. He's got some weird name. I can't remember. What is it, JR?
So Ghost Rider comes down. Everyone looks at him. They're all just so confused. They want to punch him, but they don't remember what his name is. So they're sitting at a loss, and
And one of the rules of the Audible Rumble is you can't punch somebody if you don't know their name.
They're just too busy trying to wrap their brain to want to punch him. So he rolls the die, and he lands on a 4. So everyone just kind of stands around looking befuddled, trying to figure out, do we like this guy? Do we not like this guy? He's wearing a scarf. That's weird. So everyone just kind of like stops and just stares at each other for a while until the countdown for the next wrestler comes.
This ring is full.
Yeah.
What have like 3 people been eliminated? Red Vulture's gone. Who
There's
else has
4
been
gone.
eliminated?
Red Vulture, Steamroller, Mr. C, and Cesspool have been eliminated.
Yeah.
Wow. So we've got a lot of people in the ring right now. We need somebody to come in and
let's
clean this mess up. Which means it's the perfect time for Road Pig to head to the ring, sporting his massive swine hammer. This Porky Galoot is ready to wreak havoc on all of the other entrants in the 2025 Audible Rumble. I don't know what the heck his music is because I really didn't think about it. Tell us in the comments.
Rock City last year.
It was what?
Detroit Rock City last year.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take that. All right. So Road Pig headed to the ring. Let's see what happens. As he gets to the ring, he slowly makes his way because he is a big, plodding fellow. He reaches up. He grabs a hold of that top rope, steps up to the apron, swings that big, thick leg all the way over the top rope, big man style, brings that other leg in, snorts, flicks his head around, and sprays sweat all over everybody else in the ring. Makes another snort, stamps his foot against the mat, and just runs straight forward, plowing through everybody, only to meet a clothesline from the fatal Fluffy, who turns around and snarls. Unperturbed, Road Pig stands up, locks eyes with the big hairy brute, and they just start raining blows on each other as the next entrant heads to the ring.
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah, please do.
If
We need to get rid of some people.
anyone rolls a 6, they can eliminate up to 6 people in one blow. How about that?
Oh,
Ooh,
please.
I like it.
Please. Okay. So there is no music.
Has
but
anybody rolled a 6 yet?
I have not.
No.
Okay.
I mean, the confetti rains down in a hail of glittery paper. What's that? Coming down from the pie hole. Is that synchronized swimmers, the Darling Mermaid Darlings? But they don't belong to G.I. Joe or Cobra. Why would we have synchronized swimmers drawing everyone's attention as in perfect twin motion? They point to the ceiling where all of a sudden you hear uh-oh, millionaires look out! It's Killer Whale Iceberg rappelling down into the ring. And let's
please roll a 6.
see. No! I roll a 1. This, I'm not going to make the most obvious joke. We're going to leave that alone. Unfortunately, though, as he rappels down, he lands smack dab right on top of Road Pig's hammer and guts himself
Gosh.
with whale blubber and ambergris flooding into
my
the ring.
It's got ugly.
I was really hoping he was going to take some out.
I mean, you had to know that that's not the way these things work for us. I
wish
can
we
guess.
could have orchestrated that better.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll. This is a work in progress. Every year we'll learn and get better. 5 years from now,
Whatever.
This whole
Shamu.
All right, let's see. Back to Noel.
Oh, we hear a bit of a De La Soul come over the auditorium. I can't think of the word. Speakers? Whatever. In the auditorium, we hear the sounds of De La Soul's Cool Breeze on the Rocks, which would be a terrible entrance theme, but who else would pick that but a character by the name of Cool Breeze, who makes his way down to the ring. He's just strutting.
This is who's going to eliminate everybody.
He's wearing the most garish, ugly outfit you've ever seen. He's like, Larry Hama roped me just to kill me, but guess what? I'm going to go in there and kick some butt. Well, what happens? He rolls up 4. So he gets in, he starts dancing, he looks over at Captain Gridiron, who's still in there. Captain Gridiron's like, I can start dancing. He starts dancing. Xandar looks at him. He kind of gives him a side eye, but he just can't help it. He starts dancing. 1997 Rock and Roll starts dancing. Claymore's even dancing. The whole ring eventually just starts dancing, except for the Fatal Fluffy, who's just looking on and shaking his head. And that's where we are.
All right. AC/DC's Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap starts playing, and out of the entryway walks Mercer. He's got a cigarette in his mouth and a beer in his hand, and he's making his way down to the ring, slowly taking a drag, crushing that beer, tilts his head back, finishes the whole thing off, getting probably about 3/4 of it all over his shirt on the way down, reaches into his backpack, pulls out another beer, cracks it open, starts swigging that one, takes another drag of that cigarette, and then throws it in the face of a small child in the audience wearing a Cobra shirt. Then the child's shirt catches on fire, and Mercer pours the beer on him to put it out. And he reaches down, grabs the kid, and says, "I hate cobras," and then keeps walking towards the ring. Mercer is a tough guy with tough business at hand. Slides into the ring and is immediately beset upon by Crystal Ball, the Fatal Fluffy, Xandar, Bench Press, Road Pig. Everybody, good and bad, both absolutely hate the fact that Mercer was mean to this kid, even though it was a little Cobra cadet. They do not approve of child abuse. So everybody is just beating Mercer down mercilessly.
And there's nothing special. No.
Wait,
wow.
real quick. We're adding another one. Since we're down to the next round, if you roll a 5, that is now an elimination, but just one person, but it's an elimination.
There's nothing special as far as music or lights. This contestant doesn't need them. It's Shadow Ninja Bushido. His skill alone is going to be enough to take the championship. It's a 2. So, Bushido, where did this bucket of cold water come from? I don't know. I don't care. He dumps it on himself and Eviso power. Now, no one can see him. He's invisible. So he runs up to Road Pig, takes his sword, and just slices himself a big old piece of ham.
Oh my gosh. So Road Pig is out?
Road Pig is out.
Okay.
Ooh. All right. Over the speakers, we hear the sound of another Kiss song, but this time it's Shock Me, as a large green-skinned man walks out with pink hair. Oh my God, King, is that Blanca from Street Fighter? It sure is.
Nice.
Blanca walks into the ring and he's just staring, hunched over with that, with that little hunched over stance that he likes to have. And what happens? Because I feel like he could definitely make some damage happen.
Oh, let's hope so.
If we roll the right thing. I've rolled that like the last 3 times. All right. So everyone comes towards him and he starts shocking them, and they go back to the ropes. And they shock him again and he go back to the ropes. And For some reason, nobody's fallen out of the ring because I can't stop rolling 4s.
Yeah, I feel. Are you using the roll dice on Google?
Yeah.
I feel like that thing is no good. 4s and 5s the whole way.
Yeah. I've rolled. I think I rolled a 2 because I knocked somebody out.
Yeah.
And I think it's been 4s and 5s ever since.
I question its efficacy. All right.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out if this doesn't get better. All right, here we go. All right, the sounds of that almost ministry-like stainless steel pounders type song plays, and out of the back comes Sergeant Slaughter. He's seen his buddy Mercer getting beat down, and even though he doesn't approve of beating up kids either, Mercer's his friend, his ally. But then halfway down the ramp, oh no, what's happening? Sergeant Slaughter is being attacked by Imperial Guards. Oh no, they're beating him down so bad. His blood is pouring out of his head. They've stomped on his hat. They pick up his cold carcass. He's not dead. They pick up his carcass and carry him back up the ramp. And the lights go out. And then Duran Duran's Union of the Snake starts playing. And out of the entryway comes Globulus. What is happening? He has sent his goons out to beat up Sergeant Slaughter, and Globulus is taking Slaughter's spot in the Rumble. Is this legal? Where are the rules? Who are the officials? Who's the commissioner of the Audible Wrestling Federation? I don't know. It doesn't matter because Emperor Globulus is here, and he's on his way to the ring with vengeance in his heart. He slithers his way to one of the turnbuckle posts and wraps up around it, perching on the top. Slowly slithers down. Everyone in the ring is terrified because this giant half-man, half-snake is clearly one of the biggest threats, except for the Fatal Fluffy. So Globulus slithers down into the ring, slithers his way around all of the other entrants, and they're nervous. They don't know what to do. He slithers back up to the top turnbuckle. Clearly, he has some menace in mind. When 1997 Rock and Roll lets out a mighty shout, runs at the turnbuckle, and drop kicks Globulus off and out of the Rumble.
That's what
Let me
happens
just tell
when you
you.
don't have legs.
Let me just tell you, that whole storyline didn't work out for me. Oh, boy. He's going all the way. All right, back to Kristian.
And a chill hits the auditorium as a cold wind blows, and the theme to Tetris starts playing. And down the ramp comes Big Bear as he does his little Russian march to keep the Cold War going. He pulls himself in and a 4. So he very defiantly points at Rock and Roll and says, "In Mother Russia, Roll rocks you," pointing out his next victim.
Oh boy, I'm worried about Rock and Roll.
From these speakers, we hear the sounds of Men at Work's Down Under. Dun, 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 dun. And Major Blood starts working his way to the ring, all the way from Tasmania. Of course, nobody likes Major Blood, and Major Blood likes nobody. He's a soldier for hire, like a long lost gun, like a pawn shop gun. And of course, as he walks his way to the ring, he starts reading poetry on frisbees,
Leaping
just
Lanny
like
Blood.
leaping Lanny Puffo and throwing them out to the crowd. And of course, the crowd is throwing them right back because they do not want these things.
Tremendous.
Major Blood walks his way into the ring with his cybernetic arm or blast shield arm, whichever one you want to pretend is the right thing in this particular universe. And
which is definitely a Bob Orton style weapon.
There's no way this is not like just completely gas because I've rolled 4 times in a row. Can I roll again?
Roll again, but we are now officially changing 4 because we've got to get people out of here. 4 is now elimination.
I rolled a 5, which is also an elimination.
Yep.
So, all right. So Major Blood starts going at 1997 rock and roll, who's made quite an impression in this thing. He goes after Xandar because, again, they're sort of on the same side, but not really. He goes after Captain Gridiron, who the announcers have noted has been in this thing since the beginning, and he's been in here for like 45 minutes, and he's got to be dead tired by now.
I thought you were going to say 4.5 hours.
Might as well be. He goes after Crystal Ball. He goes after Salvo. He goes after the Fatal Fluffy, who he quickly steps back from. And then he grabs Cool Breeze and tosses Cool Breeze out of the ring because that guy's lasted way too long.
Up by the entryway, flame starts shooting out of the stage, just big balls of fire. And then rain effect starts falling down from the ceiling. The lights go down and a spot aims up at the rafters. And you hear a or whatever noise he makes. Nemesis Immortal is here, and he's furious that his master was eliminated, completely screwing up the whole rest of the Rumble that Dave had planned out. So Nemesis Immortal flies down from the ceiling, lands in the middle of the ring, locks eyes with Mercer, extends his forearm blade, and puts it right through Mercer's head, lifting him up and flying him out of the ring. He's careful not to let his feet touch the ground, but he presents Mercer's lifeless corpse to the child and says, and then flies back into the ring.
All this chaos is going on. The crowd is screaming as this child is absolutely terrified. To add to the horror, Yakety Smacks comes on. What? And a bevy of beautiful blonde babes in French-made bikinis are running down, circling the ring, giggling. And who's that little old man running behind him? It's the Viper. He has come to wipe this ring clean. So he jumps up in the ring, takes his spray bottle, Fatal Fluffy. He's squirting him right into the face to say, no, you don't go there. And he takes his squeegees and rips all the hair off of the Fatal Fluffy and drop kicks him out of the ring.
Wow. Oh, boo.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's right. Sounds of Carl Douglas. That song you never want to hear ever again in your life. Kung Fu Fighting. But still, that's what plays as we see someone spring into action. He's going to kick some people quickly. In fact, his name is Quick Kick, as he works his way towards the ring with a little bit of martial arts knowledge, just getting ready to do some chopping and some kicking and some other things that I'm sure they're going to elicit some off-color remarks from the King, who presumably is still announcing this thing.
Yeah, King and JR are announcers for some reason.
Well, you know the King is not going to be able to avoid saying some things that are not, that have not aged well.
But he's going to get corneted.
Yes.
4 is now eliminate 4 people.
All right. This will be like the one time I don't roll 4 on the first try. 2. So he gets to eliminate 1 person. So who does Quick Kick get to toss out? He looks around. He sees a bunch of guys whose names start with B. Bench press, Bushido, Blanca, Big Bear. He's like, I hate guys whose names start with B. I'm going to pick on one of these guys. And so he grabs Bushido and tosses him over the top rope because he doesn't want another martial arts guy in there.
Ridiculous. I'm catching up on my eliminations here. Okay. Spotlight. 2 spotlights come down on the entryway. And the familiar sounds of do 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 do. Dr. Mindbender walks out onto the stage, and he's got the biggest bottle of baby oil you've seen since a puffy party. And he just starts rubbing that baby oil all over himself. He steps up onto a little rotating platform and just stands there rubbing baby oil all over his muscular dentist body while the music plays. Finally, just dripping with baby oil, he slides down the ramp, slides into the ring. Crystal Ball tries to grab him and can't because he's so slick. Bench press, puts his hand around his neck, but immediately just slips right off. Is Cesspool still in this?
No.
Cesspool, no, he's been gone for a while.
He's gone.
Been gone a while.
But then Dr. Mindbender slips in a pool of his own baby oil and falls into the pile of fatal fluffy hair that is left in the ring from the Viper's furious attack. He stands up, disgusted to be covered in this woolly mess. And 1997 rock and roll lets out a mighty roar. Whoa! Runs up and drop kicks Dr. Mindbender in the back, knocking him out of the ring and eliminating him from the Audible Rumble.
Well, we got one last competitor.
Hang on, I'm getting there.
Who's it gonna be, King?
Again, there is no music. There is no one coming down the ramp. Bushido, who was eliminated, thrown out of the ring, his body starts convulsing. And everybody is like, wait a minute, that wasn't in the script. Is he okay? And all of a sudden, he stands up and he's shaking like he's having a seizure. And then all of a sudden, his chest explodes. And the ghost of Marty Feldman is over the ring and goes, "There, Wolf!" Yes, It is the Manimal Warwolf. Secretly, he was inside Bushido the whole time, waiting to rip out of that human flesh bag.
Amazing.
4. So,
Oh, wow.
They got
With-
4.
with his hunger for flesh and those giant, meaty, pointy teeth, he just starts Pac-Manning his way around the ring. Gone is gridiron. Gone is bench press. Gone is 1990s rock and roll.
No, you son of a bee.
And gone is Xandar. But nobody really missed him anyway.
I can't believe you did that.
I can't believe you did that to Gridiron. He's been in there since the beginning.
I'm hungry.
So
Feed me, Seymour.
So we've got all 30 in. We now have Claymore, Clean Sweep, Crystal Ball, Dino Hunter Ambush, Salvo, Ghost Rider, Blanca, Big Bear, Major Blood, Nemesis Immortal, the Viper, Quick Kick, and Warwolf are still
Good
in the ring.
Lord, there's still
So we got
way too many in here. All right, so here's
14
what we're gonna
people
do.
in the ring.
We have to
We
add
are-
more eliminations next year.
We need to. All right, so we're gonna go back to Noel. You roll, and whatever action happens.
Just decide who it is.
Yeah.
Or do I go down a line?
No, I mean picks. Well, what is the line though? Just the list in order.
Yeah, I guess I've got a list of who's still in based on their senior.
No, because that's not fair. Because then we're just eliminating them in the order that they came in. Just pick. Make a funny story.
All right, I'm rolling a die. I've rolled a 5, which is an elimination. So Blanca finally gets someone. Huh? Oh. Didn't we decide 5's an elimination?
Yeah.
No, I just laughed
Oh, okay.
because it's Blanca.
Blanca finally gets someone dumb enough to actually touch him and actually fly over the ring, fly over the top rope. And this time, it's that guy no one can remember the name of. We'll call him Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is now in the sky.
Ooh, all right. Crystal Ball busts out his shield. He's regained control of it. His magical spell has entranced everybody in the ring. He looks at... Okay, wait. Tell me again who's left.
Claymore, Clean Sweep, Dino Hunter Ambush, Salvo, Blanca, Big Bear, Blood, Immortal, Viper, Quick Kick, Werewolf.
He looks at Quick Kick, gestures out of the ring, and Quick Kick hops out of the ring. He looks at Warwolf, gestures out of the ring. Warwolf hops out of the ring. He looks at Clean Sweep, says, "You know what to do." Clean Sweep hops out of the ring. Turns around and looks at Big Electric Blanca and says, "Those two, shock them now." Blanca turns around and grabs a hold of who else?
Claymore, Crystal Ball, Ambush,
Go ahead.
Salvo.
Claymore and Ambush, shocks him and throws him out of the ring. And then he says, "And now it's your turn." And Blanca curls up into a ball, bounces back and forth between the ropes a couple of times, and then flies out of the ring. That was lucky. We just took care of a lot of business.
So,
All right.
We
Back
have
to
Crystal Ball, Salvo, Viper, Big Bear.
Yeah, who's left?
Crystal Ball, Salvo, Viper, Big Bear, and Nemesis Immortal. Did I miss
and
someone?
Major Blood.
Oh, and Major Blood.
All right.
So Blanca was eliminated after he eliminated
Yes.
others? All right.
Yes,
Just making sure.
because that was 6.
Okay. That was a 2. So the Viper goes running towards Crystal Ball using his squeegees to shield his eyes so he cannot be hypnotized. And he yells, "Beauties, to my aid!" as the bevy of French-made bikini-wearing blondes rush into the ring and start tickling Crystal Ball. He don't care. He ain't even paying attention. He's more annoyed than anything. But that leaves him open for the Viper to take his squeegee and just completely turn Crystal Ball's head around,
Oh my gosh.
snapping his neck in two as he looks to the audience and says, "This house is clean." And the girls
Awful.
carry Crystal Ball's body out.
Awful. I smell
Wow.
collusion.
Wow. All right. Rolling that die. All right. We have 5 people left in the ring. And I just rolled a 4.
Oh, wow. It is all on you, buddy.
Oh, this is great.
So we got Salvo, Big Bear, Major Blood, Nemesis Immortal, and the Viper all duking it out. Major Blood, however, gets the upper hand on Salvo and uses that blast shielded fist and just punches her right in the chin, and she just goes tumbling out, which means our final four, Big Bear, Major Blood, Nemesis Immortal, and the Viper, who's come to wash and wipe your windows. They all get down in their respective corners as they normally do. And just for a little bit of poetic license, we're going to say that other people can eliminate other people. We're just going to do 4 total eliminations in this. So Major Blood locks up with Big Bear. Nemesis Immortal locks up with the Viper. That is definitely a fair fight. Those two, if I'm going to pair up 2 guys that are going to be like physical equals, it's going to be Nemesis Immortal and the Viper.
Sure.
Big Bear and Major Blood, they're in one corner, just pounding on each other. Major Blood is almost got Big Bear out, but he skins the cat back in. He tosses Major Blood. Major Blood skins that cat back in. On the other side, Nemesis Immortal and the Viper are duking it out. And then all of a sudden, Big Bear whips Major Blood into the Viper, and Nemesis Immortal goes flying out.
Saw that coming.
We have the Viper, Major Blood, and Big Bear. Of course, we don't really have any good guys or bad guys necessarily here. We got guys that are all kind of on ambiguous sides. So, the crowd doesn't know who to cheer for, but they are starting to get behind that Viper. You start hearing a chant of Viper, 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 Viper. Viper rips off his coveralls just to reveal a shirt that says Viper in big bold letters. And he goes and clotheslines both Big Bear and Major Blood. He picks up Big Bear and tosses Big Bear out of the ring. Oh no, Big Bear's gone. It's down to Major Blood and the Viper, but Major Blood, with that big old fist, low blows the Viper.
Boo!
And tosses him out of the ring.
Oh,
Major Blood is our winner.
That is not an Audible Interlude ending right there. That is not how things go down.
Oh, no. Is there going to be an executive decision?
No. This was all you. This was all you.
Is all this running down to...
We have absolutely right. Well, like I said, my end game got foiled, which is fine because that's part of the fun of this. So, Major Blood.
Major Blood.
Perhaps a more legit winner than last year's Rumbler. So that is your 2025 Audible Rumble. And folks, we are out of time. Please follow us at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. While you're there, check out the pinned stories. Get yourself some Audible Interlude merch. Our music is by Andy Sanford of electricminnowmusic.com. Kristian, where can we find that toy photography that you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram under the name Legion Cub.
And Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Finest, and will you be at Toylanta?
Yes, the Finest will be at Toylanta, our garrison, the Southern Command, based out of Georgia. But we are, of course, a costume club that raises money for a fantastic organization called Canines for Warriors. If any of the names that we mention in tonight's Audible Rumble sound like something you'd like to put together a costume for, we'd love to have you. So check out thefinestcc.com or the Finest Recruitment Center on Facebook if you'd like to know more.
And actually, all three of us will be at Toylanta. We may have a little guerrilla activity there. We'll follow us on the socials. We'll keep you posted. But until next time, yo, Joe.